We are now here in Pompeii, and Mount Vesuvius is about 5 miles that way. And when it erupted, it covered Pompeii in 27 feet of ash that preserved it it just preserved it. And so whenever we see things, it'll look just like it was back then. And there was about 25,000 people living in Pompeii, and it excavated about 3/4 of it now, and the next half is right over there, which will take another 20 years to excavate, so maybe I'll come back in 20 years. But we're about to go in now, so see you in there. Bye. What we are walking on right now is called basalt volcanic rock, which just goes to show that the volcano had erupted many times before Pompeii was buried and many times afterwards. So we're inside Pompeii now. Here's some of the ruins. What? Oh, and we'll get to show you some more stuff later. These are some shops, and these second-class people would live on top of their shops, and sometimes they fell down because 17 years earlier in 62 AD there was an earthquake also caused by another volcano. So this is what it looks like, and what took them 17 years to try and rebuild was already destroyed by the volcano in 79 AD. So here we go. Here are some speed bumps they used. The chariots had 2 wheels and 2 donkeys, so one donkey would go that way with the wheel, one donkey would go that way with the wheel. And also when it rains, you can use them as stepping stones like I am doing. Very modern. Here we have a pagan temple dedicated to Apollo, and there's a copy of the statue that would have been placed right there in the house of the gods, and only the priests would be allowed to go into the house of the gods. And so the poor people would put sacrificial things on the steps. There we have a sacrificial altar where they would do killing lambs or bulls depending on the festival, and the heart and liver was the most important, while the meat and the fat were given to the poor. And we have across from statue Apollo is his twin sister Diana, which is Artemis in Greek. And these columns are made out of 3 to 4 big blocks stacked on top of each other. And they didn't use cement. They would have a hole in the center of the columns, and they would put a wooden pole with lead around it to keep it in place. And at the top, you can see there are Corinthian columns, and there is a sundial over there, and we can see Mount Vesuvius in the background 5 miles away. This is the temple of Jupiter, or Zeus in Greek. And this temple, just like the Apollo temple, is also facing south, which if it was a Greek temple, it would be facing east. The Romans just did the south thing to be different. And up here we have some Ionic columns, and down below are Doric columns. These are blocks of marble that were set aside for the reconstruction after the earthquake, which apparently didn't happen. But the Romans liked to use marble a lot in their sculptures and columns. Here we have a dead person. They were usually around 5 feet tall, so they were shorter than us. But all these pots on the side. Some guy decided to put plaster in a mold to get this body out. So the bones are actually inside of that. So if you break it, yeah, you bought it. We have a dead dog. Yay, look at it. Yeah, that's a dog. Dead dog. Here we have another dead person. He's covering his mouth so he can try to breathe in the gases, but too late now, he's dead. This is the body of a young slave girl, probably about 16 or 17. Yeah. Here is a money chest and another dead body, which looks like the same one, but I guess it's not. But there you go. So we just found out that they used lead in their wine, which was supposed to make it sweeter, but then led to lead poisoning, so isn't that great either?
And then they had sex, and then they got venereal disease, and they died.
Well, they already died from the volcano, so that's the least of their problems, yes. Here we have a courtyard that is leading into the public men's bath. We're going in. Let's see. Here we are.
water.
And then
Everybody stay on the
right over there.
Stay on the carpet.
This is the hot bath where 10 to 15 men would be in, and then the next 10 to 15 they would have to change the water. But all of this, like this mosaic, it's authentic, it's real. It's been here since 5008 BC. And so there it is. This is it. That is the front door of the house with the dog. Over there if you can see. And this is the atrium, included with a skylight. This is the dining room where they would eat. And so a house like this would have 4 to 6 children, and these would be their rooms all along there, and the wife and husband would sleep separately, so that would also include a room. And the kitchen is over there. So here we are inside another house, and this is mosaic, and there's some shells on the side, like right there, you can see. And of course there's probably the dining room, and then the atrium out there with the skylight, and the servants would sleep in those rooms. And let's look around some more. This is a pretty big room. Other little rooms for the families, and look at those frescoes. They would use fish glue on the frescoes and then honey to cover it to make it all glossy, which you can kind of see is still kind of glossy, but you can actually see the indentation of the frescoes. See? There you go. Well, okay, we're entering the bordello or brothel.
Paintings
there, and over there. Stone beds would have straw mattresses on it, so it's in and out. Or as our tour guide says, wham bam, thank you ma'am.
Well, he's a god.
Okay, there you go.
So big Pinos was what? A symbol of the virility.
Oh yeah, look at those positions.
And a toilet.
Stone bed.
Toilet. Yeah. But I guess I didn't wash one because we found some graffiti. Graffiti on the wall here.
With what? So,
by one of the guys.
there you go.
He said